For those of you tuning in, we have Abi Flynn. She's UK sensation, and for those if you didn't hear her, she's gonna sing another song, but not sing. She sang. Okay, her first song, she sang "Courage," and to hear that this song came about or you gave birth to it. Because here's another thing. Not only when you had infertility issues, right? You gave birth to courage and you also gave birth to a baby boy.
Yeah.
So while all this happened to you, you gave birth and then you gave birth to you've done did you complete your album yet?
I'm recording my EP and it comes out next month. So
Okay, so look at this, all of this that happened. And you're making me so more relaxed because I guess every woman, because of cancer and all this kind of stuff going around, and plus with the pandemic, there's a fear in some people. And at one point I was fearful, and then I had to take back my power, and
yeah.
that's how I'm like you did. You took your power back. Now, the fact that you've gone through those three things, how did you get from cancer to giving birth to an EP to giving birth to a baby? Come on.
Cancer came and served as this catalyst for me to finally go live the music of my dreams because I'd been singing for other people my whole life. Like I was, as I said, I was really successful, but I was doing a lot of session work. I hadn't really done my own stuff. So I finally went and got an 8-piece band together, wrote an album, and it was all like coming through. And I was thriving with cancer, really thriving. But the thing was, I realized the reason I was thriving was because I was getting so much love when I had cancer, and I needed to find a way to actually give myself that love, whether I was dying or not. And so it was like, actually, I had a difficult moment where I had to transition from not having cancer anymore and still feeling worthy. You know, the show is Women Are Worthy. We're all so worthy, but we don't believe it. And cancer gave me a reason to feel worthy. And so, yeah, the next lesson from me, like exploding with my art through, now or never, because you might die, then it was like learning how to feel worthy enough to be in my body and to stay in this life in this world. So I did a lot of self-love work, and actually, funnily enough, I'm staying with my coach now who trained me 2 years ago in a beautiful method called I Love You Me, and I started to learn how to speak to me and my body and bring love back to all of the parts that had felt like they weren't worthy enough. And that actually is when my healing really kicked in, and the cancer that was supposed to be deadly actually started to reverse. There was many things going on, but that was huge. And then, yeah, I think I got pregnant like 2 months after my clear scan. I met my partner and got pregnant straight away. And I guess every step of the way, as you said, I've had to take full responsibility and take my power back, because people will tell you, you have cancer, you have this long left to live. Oh, you should do it this way. You should do alkaline diet. You should do this. You should do that. I tried everything. I did all the medical. I did all the holistic. I did everything. And at the end of the day, I found my healing was when I came and listened to my heart. My personal, and this is not everyone's healing, my personal healing was deep emotional wounding. And when I allowed myself to bring harmony to the deeply sad and scared and afraid parts of me from a lifetime of trauma, I actually was able to, I guess my body got the message and started to create cells in a different way, and my cancer disappeared. And yeah, it was all about listening and coming in and using my heart and using my intuition. And it's like, dare to believe, because right now we're being told all the time, like, the fear is the sickness. Like, of course there's a virus, but the fear is what creates the environment for the virus to live. And actually, when we can really believe that our bodies know what they're doing, that life has got us all of these things, that we get to choose how we respond to whatever comes up. Even if we do get sick, we get to choose how we respond, and we get to dare to love it and know that it's okay. Like, when we do that, then we very powerful, and we can now overcome the impossible.
You know what I found? Because we have some things in common. But this is what I'm finding now, listening to your story. We've all gone through some sort of trauma that we may have disguised, or we thought we've gotten over, or we've masked the trauma and create. Basically, we shut down. We close that compartment of the trauma that we've had, right? But then when we are faced by an illness or something catastrophic, that comes back. And then because we didn't really fully heal, we thought we were healed from that, but we weren't. But something comes back and bam, hits us. Then we have to start cleaning house, so to speak. We have to start fixing that trauma, fixing or correcting what we're going through now. Because, like you, I've gone through some things and I closed that compartment, I shut it down. And then when I was faced with something else, I had to deal with that trauma. And
Yeah.
I've noticed when I dealt with that trauma, I start to heal in other ways. It's like when I'm going outside and I'm smelling the rose, it's not like the rose I smelled 3 years ago. The rose smells differently, you know? And so for me, that's what I'm seeing. We go through trauma and we think that, oh, we're over it. We sought therapy. Maybe we didn't. But then when something else hit us, all the traumas that we didn't deal with, so to speak, it comes back. So your cancer basically kind of helped you open up in other areas that you left closed. Oh, I feel like I'm a therapist right now. But you know,
Really good.
but
Yeah.
and it's so good to see. And as women, we have to support each other because here's the thing that I'm finding sometimes when we're going through things, there's people that we may not think we could trust, and we don't trust them with that. You know what I'm saying? So, my question to you is why do you think that women should be supporting each other? Why should we support and love each other?
Mm. We are all beautiful mirrors of one another. And in truth, and I can tell you firsthand in my own experience that I've been to the veil of death and seen that there is just love and that there is no dogma, there's no wrong. We are actually all beautiful beings doing the best we can. And even the most darkest or awful of acts come from a place of deep dissociation from that truth and deep forgetting of who we are and trauma. And everybody, as you say, is going through something. When we allow ourselves to give ourselves the permission to show up and shine in our vulnerable selves, in our tenderness, in our excitement, whatever, and everything in between, the ugly times, the fun, the beautiful times, whatever. When we give ourselves permission to do that, we give permission to every woman around us, because it's saying it's okay to be real, it's okay to be a human and have feelings. And we are children. We are still children. We never stop being children. We're just told that we're adults now. Like, we are innocent, beautiful hearts from the same mother and father. And, it's like, whether you have spiritual beliefs or not, we are all connected, and we do have the power to light one another up. And actually, like, there's this great big illusion that if someone's shining, that means we're less. And it's just a story. Like, when somebody is shining and in their true power, when they're in their heart, it means it's just an example of how much you are that. And there's infinite abundance to be had, and there's no lack, really. And the more that we stick together as women and we start to repave the way that we believe of that, that's how we change the world. Women are here right now. Women are changing the world, and the feminine in men and women is changing the world. That ability to feel and be true to ourselves and not feel like we have to mask it up, as you said, and go, like, keep going, like on a rat race, when actually we've forgotten that we're sentient, sensitive beings.
That's true because I want women to understand that, we're nurturers, by birth, we're nurturers. And I want women to understand that it's okay to feel vulnerable. We don't have to, because men are men, we're women, and find your village. If you can't find your village, create a village of women who are going to support you, because so often we have to fry the bacon, cook it up in a pan, never let him feel like he's a man. Then we have to hunt it. We have to do all these things. And it's okay to finally say, whew, I'm tired.
Yeah.
It's okay to feel that way because I have this saying, Abby, that I say we're all in the same book. We're just in different chapters. You may be in chapter 10 and I'm in chapter 3. And I don't have to be in the race with you to applaud you. I should still be able to applaud you if I'm not in your race. So if you're thriving to do something, it's not going to cost me anything just to applaud you or pick up the phone and say, how can I help you? How can I support you? And I think that's what we need to do. And one of the things that I found so inspiring about you when I went on your Instagram page and I saw that beautiful picture with all these women around you. It was like, I'm an empath and I was led to you. When I say I was led to you, I was led to you because when I saw that picture, that alone, you got to go on her Instagram page. Is your Instagram page Abi Flynn? It's not Abi Flynn. Is it Abi Flynn? What's your
Abby
Instagram
the
page?
singer.
Abby the singer. Let me put that on because I want
Yeah.
them to see your page because oh my God, it was just phenomenal. When I saw that, I'm like, she gets it. She gets it because most women don't feel comfortable around other women. You know, they feel like they can be the only one or maybe a second person, but you had a host of women around you. And I just thought that was just so inspirational, you know, to have these women with you. Now, what is your son's name, Abby?
Leo.
Leo?
Yeah.
Okay, you chose that name because why?
It chose us. I just always liked the name Leo since my whole life. And then when I met my partner, we were together 8 weeks before we got pregnant without knowing it at first. And he said to me, I've ever had a boy, could we name him Leo? Because we were very quickly in love. And I was like, yeah. And the weirdest thing, when I found out I was pregnant, I told my mum by a game of, do you have Hangman? And you draw the letters and they've got to guess. And the first three letters she guessed was Leo. And the hangman was to say I'm pregnant. She didn't get the hangman, but she got the letters Leo. And I was like, what? So the name was like, it chose us. It was just so weird. And again, it's the courage, the lion, the Leo. And it's interesting you said about the women in the video because my part of my healing was finding that tribe of women. Most of those women were really part of my healing journey because they held me in it. But on that throne in that video, I felt so deeply uncomfortable, so difficult to receive in that moment because they were so amazing. And I've had to walk since we shot the video to me releasing it. It took me a year to feel confident enough to release it because I was like, I can't be in a throne surrounded by other women. What will it look like? But actually, it's just like goes to show that even when we're in our most vulnerable and tender and insecure, like we still all deserve the throne and the crown, and that's our birthright.
Because we're all wearing a crown, and I try to tell women, and when I am talking to them, not try, I do tell them, don't tilt your head, and if you do, make sure the crown doesn't fall on the floor. Because we all have a crown, we're all wearing the crown. It's just how you're wearing it. So, did you feel guilty when you were told? Because you have to just go through something when you're thinking you're going to die and you're preparing for that, and then all of a sudden things are reversed. Do you feel guilty somewhat, like survivor's remorse or something, that you are alive and you may have had chemo with people who possibly didn't survive?
No, I mean, I think that's probably very common, but because of the nature of my healing, essentially I removed dogma from my belief system. So when I did visit the Veil of Death, I actually saw that everything was love, and that was how I managed to, I guess, repave my entire belief system and body in knowing that I think I actually felt like I deserved to die. And that's a big on a very deep level. And that's why I had cancer, because I was almost, our brains and our bodies, they're clever. If you're telling yourself, I don't deserve to live, I'm awful, then your body will create that landscape. And that's not to say you did it, but it's like when you realize that you have the ability to love whatever happens, even if I was to die, I was like, okay, I'm gonna dare to believe that I'm not an awful person and I'm not guilty and I'm not sinful just by being. And when I dared to believe that, that's when my cancer reversed. So the very notion of realizing that I wasn't an awful, guilty person was what healed me. So I actually went on a journey after healing cancer where I was learning how to be in the world as a worthy person. And so I was like, okay, well, I survived and I know that I'm loved now. But how do I be that in this body? Like I've never had that. I've always gone around feeling like I'm less than everyone, like I'm underneath everybody, and I have to put on a mask just to fit in. And that was a hard transition, but I'm just landing now from that, really.
And I like the fact that you're existing because I want you to know this, Abby. You have such a powerful light. Just looking at you, and when I'm talking to you, and we talk on the WhatsApp app and stuff, you are just so inspiring to me. And I want you to know that because you are worthy. You are the most amazing freaking chick. I like using chick and broad because I like back in the olden days, like with the Betty Davis and Lena Horne back in those days when they did movies. and you called a woman a chick or a broad, it wasn't a bad thing. But now with certain things you can't say it. But I say that with the most compliment because you've gone through hell and back. And that's what this show is about. It's about going through hell and back, but you didn't stay in hell. You're here. And how did you get here? And how did you stay here? You didn't stay in the woe is me, oh my God, because I don't know what I would have done. But just listening to someone like you, when I have days that I don't feel like, oh my God, I just want to have one of those days, I don't have days anymore because women like you that come on this show has taught me I don't need to have days. I can have a moment, but not have a day. Make a whole day of it, a whole production of it, because every minute, every second that we have, we should spend it loving and knowing more about ourselves and giving to ourselves. Now, my question to you is, what are you doing for self-care? Because so often women are not taking time. They're so busy nurturing, taking care of other people, the kids, the husband, the spouse, the significant other. We're not taking care of ourselves. So I'm hoping I'm going to hear from you by the grace of God, you're going to tell me that you're practicing and you're doing self-care. You're on now, Abby.
I mean, part of it was the reason I was able to stay alive was learning how to take care of myself and love myself, and I teach that to other women now. And of course, I don't always manage to remember. I got all the time. I'm like, oh, I've neglected myself, but I do intentionally live with self-care when I can. And I have morning practices. I like to use ritual a lot. I remember when I first heard about ritual, I thought it was something really alienating. Like, why would I just sit at an altar in my room? I'm not religious. Like, why would I sit and speak words to like God or whatever? I was like, I don't believe in that. And actually, through my journey, I've realized that it's all about living with intention. So if I can sit at an altar every day and write my intentions and hold space for myself to feel however I feel and pull a little card on it or an angel card or something and a candle, it's me devoting myself to me. And I actually personally believe that God and us is all one, everything is one. That's my own way of looking at it. But I take the time for myself. I love water healing. I go in the ocean. I have a 9-month-old, and there is a narrative that we can't do anything if we're a mum, and it is very hard and so hard. And I have so much compassion for women that we have a lot to hold. But if you dare to really claim it and you make that time and you book that in, like, you can find ways. And yeah, I just basically sing. I use my voice as medicine. I spend time in the ocean, and when I'm feeling really triggered and really like loads of ugly things are coming up in me, and I'm angry and I'm feeling mean or whatever it is that's coming up, I just sit with myself and I use the self-love, methods that I've learned. And yeah, it's just literally taking care of yourself like you're a little child and saying, "Oh, I'm sorry you're feeling this way, me. I love you." And yeah, that's all of those things. When I remember, sometimes I forget.
Well, I need to keep you on my phone because your voice is soothing, not just your singing voice, your talking voice. And I like, you're now in the village, whether you know it or not, you're now in the Women of Worthy village. You're adopted. We're sisters. We're there. So I just want you to know that. Can I get another song, please?
Yeah, okay. What will I sing? Maybe Get Deep is my title track of my EP that's coming out next month. And it was really about everything we've spoken about. It was about, I was trying to find everything out here, and in the end I found it in the depths of my being, in my body, in my womb, with myself. And it's about going in that journey from living shallow to living deep.
I like that. I like that.
Something wasn't right in me. Now I got a new truth. Took a lot of honesty. That's new. Never in my life had I let my spirit come through. Now I guess it's time to shine the light I've buried deep, and I wonder how I stayed lost for so long. How the basis on my values could be so wrong. Well, I spent most of this life being headstrong. Oh, and I tried to find the way I was feeling by staying in the shadows of my being. I guess that up to now I've been sleeping. Oh, yeah. Be your truth, honor you, don't try to cover it up. The only way to be free is to get deep. Be your truth, honor you, don't try to cover it up. The only way to be free is to get deep. One day you will spread those wings, yeah, that's what Ella told me. Only got to look within and you'll see. And now I recognize that it's my time and this is happening. And so I'm gonna fly into the next chapter of life. And I wonder how I stayed lost for so long. How the basis of my values could be so wrong. Now I see the answer was here all along. Oh, oh, yeah. Be your truth, honor you, don't try to cover it up. The only way to be free is to get deep. Be your truth, honor you, don't try to cover it up. The only way to be free is to get deep.
Girl.